Hey guys, this is Adam Henderson. I decided I want to put a pause on going over the rest of the games from the Portland tournament last year, and instead I want to review these games from New Orleans, which was an open tournament that I played in. And I don't want to spoil how I did in this tournament, but let's just say that the games were interesting enough that I wanted to get to them right away. And so I'm starting a new series. There were 20 games. I'm going to be going over all of them. There may be one or two that were blowouts that I'll only cover a few moves on. So I may combine that into two games and into one video. Um, but let's get started. The one thing I will say about the tournament is it was very expensive to go to. Uh, I brought my husband with me, so the flight was about a little over 600. The hotel stay was a little under 600. So together it was about 1,200 for the flight and hotel stay. So that's 1,200, and then we had four lift rides. So the four lift rides was to the airport, or yeah, to the airport from where we live, and then from the airport in New Orleans to the hotel was another lift, and then back. So that was four lift rides, and I estimate they maybe were like $40 each. Maybe the ones in Seattle were like $60. So about $200 for the lift rides. So altogether, it was about $1,400. Since I'm counting the lift rides as expenses for that trip as well. Um, so it was expensive, and was it worth it? Was it worth the expense? I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it because it did. It did have an interesting result. So I won't say whether it was worth it or not. But well, let's take a look at these games. One other thing I want to mention was that there was some flight cancellation on the way back, and there was a lot of drama trying to get back in Seattle, and I had a minor panic attack. Sounds like other people I'm looking on Facebook are having the same issues with flights getting canceled. So um, I'm not sure if that's why the flights are getting canceled exactly. So, but maybe you know and can leave a comment. You might know more than I do on that. All right, let's take a look here. So the first game is against Keith Hagel. I have him here. So his rating is about 1485. I think going into this tournament, it may have been a little bit higher than 1485, but I'm not entirely sure. But he's a strong player. 1485 is still a strong rating, and if you play him, do not underestimate him. Definitely do not underestimate him. One thing I will say is that I haven't gotten. I'm not sure if I haven't gotten to analyzing my game with Keith at Portland yet, but he did play a phony in that tournament, so you got to watch out for him playing phonies, and his phonies are better than your average phony. When he does phony, they're tricky. So he opens with Boone, and let me just see where this opening starts because I did take a picture of most of my games. So positioning of Boone was here. And I had this rack, and let's take a look. Oh, it says I should have played Judy for 30. I actually played, hold on. Okay, so this was actually not the play. Boone was actually played here, which was kind of a strange placement for Boone. So I still have the same rack. So I did have Judy here for 42, and that would have been a lot better. And I just completely missed that Judy was a word. So I played Jenny for 39. And he plays Peck. I would have played Judy if I had seen the play. And Peck goes where? Okay, that just goes through here for 17. So I drew a second U, which just kind of shows how superior Judy would have been to Jenny, because this was terrible to have two U's. I actually want to get rid of both the U's, and so I just went ahead and played Gurus. But I could have played Durox for 14 more points, so that leaves GU, which isn't the best, but I think it was probably Durox would have been the play if I had seen it. So Gurus comes down. It's not that much worse. It's not 14 equity points worse, because I did get rid of both the U's and the G. So I think the plays are actually pretty close, even though Durox scores 14 more points. So I got a lot better leave from that. And he plays Paving. And OK comes down. That's a good score. 45 points. I thought it was a good score. It didn't take me long to play OK. Actually, I think I played my moves pretty quickly in this game, because I just felt like the moves I was making were somewhat obvious. This rack, Woody comes down, gets rid of the W and the U and the duplicate D's. Seems like a no-brainer. He plays Tax for 26. That goes there. And I played Halal here, actually. So it does favor Aloha about 1.8 more equity points than Halal, but made the second best play. I think that's pretty good to make the second best play. I think it was pretty close to Aloha there. I do like my play of Halal, even against Aloha here. I think that was pretty good. And his play was interesting. He played Meth here, which I think takes a number of extensions to Meth. Some of them can be 9-letter words, I believe, like methanone. So I was looking for... I was trying to play quickly for some reason, but I didn't really have a whole lot of time to think of all the extensions to Meth. So if you know all the extensions, then feel free to list them in the comments. But yeah. I certainly do not know all of the extensions. And I had this rack, and I decided to exchange. There's two blanks unseen. There's also two S's and an X that are juicy to get, but mainly I want to do tile turnover here um, to try to get those blanks. So I exchanged keeping TE. I think that was a pretty good move here to exchange keeping TE. So I'm in agreement with my move on that play. But as you can see, the game is actually pretty close. He plays Erie. So he also has vowelitis, as Dan Goodwin would say. All right. I have this rack. It looks promising, but I only have Deweyer, which is actually 42 points, which isn't too bad. Didn't take me long to find Deweyer. It's a pretty obvious play. So that gives me 42 points, and if he doesn't have a strong response to my 42-point play, then I'll have a nice lead. But he does have a pretty good response, as it turns out. He has one of the blanks, and he uses it to the triple with retainer. So that comes down. But I was actually not too unhappy with this play. When he played a retainer, that means that his blanks is gone. He only scored 74 using the blank for a bingo. And the score is still pretty tight. I felt I liked my chances here. So let's see what I drew. So I have this rack, and it looks like some pretty... Oh, I did not know that paving took the S. So yeah, I did write pavings with the... I wrote pavings on my score sheet. Let's see. You can see there I wrote pavings down with the question mark. I wasn't about to play a phony this early in the tournament, and I felt like there was no need to make a desperation play, so I didn't play pavings here. Let's take a look. See if it's new or not. It's not new. A lot of those INGS words are new. So pavings, those INGS words, very hit or miss on those, whether they're acceptable or not. So let's see. I could have played sofa. I played fatso here. Is that... Let me just make sure that's a word. Yeah, okay. So it is a word. It won't be listed as an option here because apparently it's a slur, but it is acceptable in WePo's dictionary. So fatso comes down for 21. And he continues scoring with axe. And at this point, he actually... Axe scores... So before this play, we were tied at 218. But after axe, he's up 39 points. And that's going to be a tough one for me to recover from this two-letter play of axe. And I have this rack here. Didn't take me long to find methanol, but there's also methanol methanol, which is interesting. Now methanol, I'm pretty sure is not new, but methanol might be. Yeah, methanol is a new word. So I will write that one down. I'm not sure if that's a word I've learned yet. Methanol. But yeah, I saw methanol pretty quickly. I mean, it wasn't like super fast that I found methanol, but it was fairly quickly I found it. So that actually tied the game again. So it was nice that I was able to find that play to counter Axe. So this is a neck and neck game. It's actually pretty close. Pretty pretty intense game for the first game of the tournament. And he comes up with mine, playing down here. Maybe he was trying to close down bingo lanes with mine. I'm not exactly sure what his thinking was. And let's see if I drew the blank yet. I did not draw the blank. And instead, I played Avo, taking a small lead of 8 points. And here, he has the Q and the U, and he plays Quail for 48, which is a big hit, because that's 48 is a lot, and he's been making a lot of high point plays in this game. And here, I didn't actually write down my rack, but I did overdraw, and I did have the blank. I'm not entirely sure what my rack was here. I had something like this plus an R because I overdrew, and I also combined on my rack, which meant that I had to put all of my tiles, including the blank, which I had just drawn. And so I tried to shuffle them before he drew it, but the first tile he turned over was the blank, and he says, I don't need to see these other tiles. The blank goes back in the bag. And I'm not entirely sure what my rack was here, so maybe it was something like this. But I actually played... I might not have had the F here. I think I might have had like 2 I's. Yeah. So if I didn't see pavings, maybe OB here for 19 is best. I actually just played Bro here. And the reason is, and again, I'm not sure that this is my rack here because I didn't write it down. And the reason is I wanted to give myself a chance to bingo. And he plays G here, GHI. And at this point, when he played GHI, there was 4 tiles left in the bag. And out of those 4 tiles, one of them was the blank. And so I thought I had just blown the game by the overdraw. And I was pretty hard on myself I was like, how can I let this happen? It shouldn't be hard for me to avoid overdraw situations. But honestly, what happened was I was just nervous. It was the first game of a big tournament I had paid a lot of money to get into, and to be honest, I didn't want to lose to Keith either. So it was just I felt like I was pretty upset, and I was just trying to control my emotions. And guy gets played. I'm down 52 points, and I have this rack. So it's saying I should play ifs for 38, or maybe fur for 24, or maybe is. But there's only one tile in the bag. And I decided what I wanted to do was maximize my chances of bingoing next turn, and I figured I needed to get rid of the F to do that. So let's take a look. The tile I'm most likely to draw is either an E or a D. So if I get an E, I have nothing. If I get a D, I have a number of things. So if I drew a D, that would have been good. And he needs to figure out a way with his rack to, well, I mean, if he bingos, then he just wins outright. Let's take a look, because actually I don't want to spoil it. Let's see where I played F. Let me take a look here. So I played F right here. That was the place I found I could play the F for the most points. Scores 10. That puts me 42 points behind, and it's his turn. And he has this rack. He has Dado. And looks like he has 2 R's. Is that correct? No. He has 1 R and 2 E's. He has this rack here. He plays Dado. Now, this is an interesting position because I actually draw the blank as the last tile in the bag. So I gave it up by an overdraw, and I drew the blank as the last tile of the bag. I wonder if there was any way for him to win the game in this position. So if he plays Deodar, what do I have? I don't have any bingos that are playable. So if he had played Deodar, I have quite a few bingos in this rack, but none of them quite fit here because of the position of that R. The only thing that goes in front of the R is the E. So I would have been completely out of luck because nothing quite fits if he plays Deodar. Let's see if there was any other. So Deodar wins. Let's see what else wins here. If he plays Eroded, that also wins. If he plays Adored, that also wins. If he plays Otter, I have Nestor, which I didn't know that was even a word. Nestors. Okay, I'll write that one down. After I play Nestor, that gives me two eyes, so that can't possibly win. So Otter also wins. Edo. I don't think Edo wins. No, Edo definitely doesn't win. So yeah, Dado was what he came up with. So he had uh 4 wins here. Deodar, eroded, adored. So he comes up with Dado, and I played Dirties for 74 and win by 20 points. So that was intense for me. I was very happy to win this game. I probably didn't deserve to win it just because I overdrew and lost the blank. Um, but I guess fate had other plans for me for this tournament, and I won the first game by 20 points. So thanks for watching, and please leave a like on your way out, and I'll see you in the next game.